Hello, sir.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, you?
Good.
You just went from like looking at me sternly to like, hello. It was weird.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably because I'm just still thinking about what to talk about today. So interesting experience. I don't know, actually, the whole thing. So Willow has gotten all up about like being fashionita, got her nails done, got her hair done. Uh, she's using her own money. So she got her hair, like the underneath of her hair dyed earlier, like in
Last year,
the spring, maybe.
Yeah.
Pink, this neon pink. But within 2 days it washed out and it was just this blonde underneath. It still looked okay, but she was really upset.
Yeah.
But had spent, like $250 or something like that. But you went with her to see what they could do. They gave a little bit of money back, but not tons.
No, but I think what they did was fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the resolution was fine.
So she went and to somebody else and got it redone, the underneath. So now for back to school, she went, found her own salon, booked her own appointment, spent another $250 and was upset, right? She got highlights and a cut.
Mm-hmm.
The highlights can't even see on one side, so she's really upset. So and then the hair cut itself. She was very upset. And so I said, and she's just like going on and on and on, being really upset about it. It's a lot of money, but it's her money, so I can't really say anything. So I told her it's better to light a candle than to complain about the darkness.
Yes. And your other daughter made fun of you for it.
And so did you.
I did not.
You said something about Aesop or something.
No, she said it. Way to go, Aesop. And I said, that was very profound of you.
Okay.
I don't like that. I just got lumped in with a negative comment there.
Well, I'm sure you said it with sarcastic.
This is like email. You don't know what my intent was. You don't know what my tone was. I said what I said.
So she did stop and she did take it into her own
she lit a candle. She lit a candle, all right. And this is all on you, Aesop.
So
tell the person what happened.
So like what, 10 minutes later?
Maybe 15 tops.
She decided to cut her own hair.
Straight up.
Like 4 inches off of her hair. She cut her own hair. She just spent $250.
Yep. And when asked for further comment was because I didn't want to go back and deal with it. Essentially.
Yeah. But she did light her own candle. She thought I was mad. I was just shocked. I would have probably been mad if it was our money, right?
Well,
we spent.
I think if it was our money, it wouldn't have been up for a debate. We would have been like, we're going back.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
Like our response would have been different to the initial because you're bang on. It's like, well, it's your money, man. That sucks. What are you going to do about it? If it was our money, it was like, that sucks. We're going to go back down there today and talk to him. Yeah. Right. It would have been completely different.
It's just funny that she did sort of take it into her own.
I mean, we always wanted girls that felt confident enough to make decisions and take charge. Just be thankful she didn't give herself a bowl cut or something awful.
I know.
It does, and it does look fine. Like, I mean, we're joking around.
She's curled it, so I don't know what it actually looks like.
Well, she can be curling it for the next several weeks then, because it looks good this way.
Yeah, curled it looks great.
It's amazing.
So I have no idea though what it actually looks like. But boy, it's funny, like just that independence piece though too. Like just even Maya was talking about. So she's got tryouts for ringette, and she's got exercise-induced asthma, and especially in the cold. So i.e. on a rink. Ran out of her inhaler. So she's like, I got to book myself doctor's appointment, right? And she's got to book her oral surgery. And
Willow booked her own optometrist book this week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you want me to call? No, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And the only reason she brought me in is I had to pay for the new contacts. Like it's getting real good. Like we're getting close.
I know. The only thing that they will never, although Maya's booking her oral surgery, Maya did say, I will never take myself nor call for a dentist appointment.
She hates the dentist.
She hates the dentist. So I'm sure eventually she will. But that independence piece is so awesome. Like to expect, because I think we do take on so much
Mhm.
as parents. And I think that goes back to that previous episode that we did just on how parenting affects our health.
Mhm.
I we do take on everything.
And I think there's more to take on too. Like, I think it's a combination of, yeah, our parents didn't do a lot. They did a fair amount, but they didn't do as much as we do. But I don't think there was as much. Like, you're constantly feeling like you're trying to keep up when you're a parent these days.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know about that camp. I guess I got to better get on that and get that. But what do you mean that's happening? I didn't hear about that. How did you hear about that? Like, it's constant. And I mean, it doesn't help that we are brutal at adulting.
We
Like,
really are, but it's helped our kids because they're the ones who said, I mean, the summer camps this past summer, Willow
you're
was
on.
the one who found all the ones that she wanted to do.
I will say next year I'm going to put the brakes on that.
Yeah,
That was
it became
it
too
was
much. Like one week, she had 2 camps in the same week,
same week.
like daytime and then nighttime.
Yeah.
So it
She got
became
no
too
break
much.
this year.
But so we can delegate. Like I'm always talking, even with my coaching with adults. I don't do it myself, but like what can you automate, delegate? Our kids can do a lot of stuff, right? I mean, we've talked a lot about that just with the independence, but there's absolutely things that they can be doing. And they love the responsibility. They feel
Well,
so
they
much
don't think
more
it's
empowered.
responsibility, right? Like it is, and they may understand it is, but it doesn't feel like it in the moment when you're given the ability to do something.
And maybe not booking their appointments, but I do think that it does boost their confidence and capacity that I can totally take stuff into my own hands and do it myself. But even jobs like when Maya painted our front room and like the fireplace, allowed her to do that. I think that was really empowering. So I think there are like important jobs that they can take on.
Oh.
But there's things that they can, like I have never, well, even Willow was like, Mom, because I had some of her laundry and she's like, you don't like this must have just got, wrapped into yours because I've been doing my own laundry since I was 6 years old. So I'm like, yeah, I've never done your laundry since you were a kid, like a little kid. So, but yeah, I think there's a big piece and just, everything that we do for our kids, but we also worry about our kids a lot. And we worry a lot about their emotional well-being, right?
Mhm.
And trauma and attachment and friendships and feelings. And there's a great book, and I'm probably going to refer to it quite a bit over, different episodes because there's different pieces in there. A lot of it's going to be things that we've already talked about, certainly. But these are definitely things that I teach, some of the common mistakes for psychologists and things like that. But just in terms of parenting, one of the big mistakes that we make all the time is checking in with our kids' feelings and how are they feeling, right? And drawing all this awareness to how are you feeling, right? And maybe I'll just leave it there for a second just to see what your thoughts are. I guess the question is, well, maybe I already answered it, but there's a lot of pieces in there.
Great episode. Great episode. It's like, here's the question.
Well, what do you, I mean, yeah, should we be talking about our kids' feelings so much?
No.
How come?
I think it's important to understand. I think it's important to respect their feelings. I think we have created a situation where we don't prioritize how they need to work through those feelings as much as we prioritize simply taking care of those feelings, right? Like it's the same as I'm offended by that. Awesome. What do you want me to do with that? Well, I'm offended by it. Okay. Well, you need to modify your behavior because I'm offended. No, absolutely, I do not. Right? It's the same. We've taken the same approach to children in a lot of ways, which is, well, that upsets my child. Okay, cool. What are you going to do about it? Well, no, you're going to have to change because my child's upset. I don't care about you. I don't like your kid. Get away from me. Like, it's important to understand them to help them grow and develop things like independence and stuff. But in a lot of ways, we smother that considerably. And then what we do is we create kids that are incapable, people, not kids. We create people that are incapable of dealing with any sort of adversity and feel that because they want something to be a certain way, things need to conform to make that happen. And that is just not a realistic expectation. But we continue to strive for that in a lot of aspects. Perfect example, and I'm horribly uneducated on the topic, but you and I talked about it the other day. There are protests going on in Brampton, Ontario, by students that were failed in their courses. They are protesting that they were failed at a university level and demanding that their grades be changed to a passing grade. That is mind-boggling to me, that they are so incapable of looking at it from the perspective of, did I do enough? And did I learn enough? And these aren't, no offense to business majors or marketers or stuff, these aren't non-essential skill sets, right? These are engineering students. That to me is a skill and a career that requires a high degree of understanding and competence, just like architects, just like doctors. I don't want a doctor in the ER that got a grade bump because they weren't happy they failed. I want the doctor that failed to not be a doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
I want the engineer that failed to not be an engineer. Because if I'm on a bridge by a guy that didn't know the fundamentals and it collapses, there's a real effect on that. That's obviously an exaggerated worst case scenario, but legitimately that's what we're setting up a lot of times is, oh, how do you feel about that? And how can I make you feel better? How can I change it to make, when really it should be, that sucks.
So what are you going to do better?
What are you going to do it? To the hair example, right? To the hair example, man, because you even said after about 10 minutes of us hearing about it, man, that sucks. What do you want to do about it? Not what can I do? What do you want to do about it? Well, I don't, well, you've got options. You go back and ask the guy to do it right, or you live with it, right? Those are your two options, essentially. She chose more living with it with a modification, but that's it. It wasn't, oh my goodness, it wasn't us white knighting. She said originally, you know, if I go and talk, I want you to come with me, Dad, because you're more intimidating. I'm like, it's not about intimidation. Like I didn't intimidate the last one. We talked about it. And she saw our point and was cool. And we saw her point that it wasn't about her never earning money off it. It was just like, hey, we spent a lot of money and it wasn't what we were expecting. Can you do something? And we found common ground. That was the lesson that was supposed to be out of that, right? And it really comes down to trying to approach that with a lot of kids. Back to the original question. Yeah, I think we're screwing it up.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and I think there's now two branches. There's probably six, but one that you just brought up now. I mean, it is that perception. I see that at the university all the time. Like as soon as a student doesn't like a grade that I've given, they're going to the chair and like up.
They're not trying to resolve with you.
Yeah. No, it's just because I don't like that. I'm an A student. I've always gotten A. How dare you? And so we definitely see that lack of accountability, because there's always usually a parent swooping in to protect the kid, right? And you can't feel this way, and feeling this way is bad, right? There's something else I was going to say. Oh, just with the programs, there are some programs, I won't say specifically which, but there are programs that they're expecting students to fail. So they take in, maybe they take in 500, but they can really actually only ever graduate 200. And so they're weeding them out in hopes. And oftentimes it is those programs where it's essential. Like you must be an excellent doctor to be a doctor, right?
You must be an excellent airline pilot to fly a plane.
Right.
With hundreds of people.
I learned how to fly a plane.
You did not learn how to fly a plane.
I did.
You did not.
I did.
You learned the fundamentals of how planes work.
No, it was
a
12 step. And it was a 12 step.
Okay. This is a perfect illustration of the problem. You feel like you are a qualified pilot. And I, being reality, I'm coming to you saying you are not.
There was an emergency and I stepped up to the plate to say I would take over piloting the plane.
No, there was an emergency that didn't involve you, and you thought, I wonder if I could learn how to fly a plane if that ever happened to me.
And I did, because I needed it in that moment.
Let me boil it down. How many hours behind the stick have you had?
Okay. I know, but I'm just saying, if in an emergency, and the dude in the video even said, don't just go and do this if there's an emergency. And there was.
Why does he even have to give that warning? Hey, don't go just jump in the cockpit and start flying a Boeing. Yeah, of course. No, that's not going to happen.
But if you had to, and there's an emergency, now I know the 12 steps. But anyways, all this to say, no, I know, exactly.
But and back to your point about the programs, yeah, in that instance, absolutely, I want it to be hard and difficult, and there to be only the best of the best coming through that. That is, to me, what should happen, right? And it sucks if you're right on the cut and you didn't make it. It sucks. I get it. But
I just want to say one more thing about
yeah,
the pilot
yeah.
day.
Okay, let's go back to that.
I was lighting the candle. Everybody else would freak out and complain, and everybody did. I was the only one who was coming up to light a candle. And you know what? Willow did too, with her taking her hair into her own hands. I was taking the
Yeah.
situation, though.
No, you're taking 300 lives into your own hands, is what you're saying. I'm
Amen.
not going to lie to you, babe. I maintain our vehicles. I would not want you to just assume control of a plane mid-flight. I'm just saying.
Hey, they don't have to maintain the planes. They just need to
No,
fly them.
no, but they got to get it down in one piece. And sometimes spatial awareness doesn't really mix.
It's fine. There's this big open field. It's big open.
Earth, ground, gravity.
It's all good. So on this one branch, though,
Yes.
it's this cognitive distortion. And so when we're focusing so much on feelings, we're essentially saying, yes, A, they're bad. So then kids are going to feel there's something wrong with me. And they grow up to be these adults. What's wrong with me? I'm depressed. I'm anxious, right? Like these labels end up happening because we shouldn't be feeling this way. No, we got to.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. Got to normalize it. But the distortion becomes the problem. Just what you were saying, because I feel like you have offended me, therefore you have offended me, right? And so they believe their feelings are truth.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, I mean, we've talked about like fear and excitement feel the exact same way in the body. It's our interpretation of them. And so kids are never stepping back to think critically. And we've talked a lot about this just in terms of like racism, right? Mm-hmm. And things that people say. If I'm offended, therefore you were racist or you said something sexist or mm-hmm. whatever, because I perceived that without taking the step back to think critically. An example I'll share, just a really simple one. In a video, I was doing an ethics class lecture on for counseling students on nonverbal communication. And I said, you don't get a lot. You don't get the same sort of nonverbal communication on screen as you do face to face. And I had talked about how I was working with this one client and the nonverbal, it was beautiful. I didn't see any challenges because I was doing an autism assessment, right? But then somebody took that to mean I didn't think that person was beautiful, right? And so then they were offended, and how dare I, right? And not thinking about the intention, right? And that's where it starts to get blurred.
Well, it's the old saying that perception is reality, right? So, and it sucks because a perfect indication of the fact that we've jumped the shark here is every other month there's a new term to denote an extreme reaction or extreme behavior, triggered, woke, gaslit, right? These are things that weren't typically used up until the past few years, but now they're thrown around commonly to try and tell a narrative in a way that gets people to react a certain way. Stop gaslighting me. Come on. When did you ever hear that term when you were growing up? You never did. I've heard it 20 times in the past month, right? Oh, someone so-and-so gaslit someone. So no, so-and-so said something you didn't agree with. So you feel that they're trying to pull one over on you because it doesn't align with your worldview. And it comes down to, and this goes beyond feelings, we as a society, or even boil it down more specifically, we as parents need to teach our kids that disagreement is healthy. It is okay and should be warranted. Like if you and I agreed on everything, super boring. Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. Yes, it's awesome. And we go about our day. When really it's like, oh, I love this. It's not my favorite, but I'm cool doing it because I know you like it. That's a much more healthier conversation than just, yeah. That's what we've trained kids and ourselves to expect, which is everything should be awesome. Everybody should agree with my worldview. Everything should be made comfortable for me. I should never feel offended or uncomfortable or have to deal with anything that I don't agree with. That's not the case. That is an absolute recipe for disaster, because what it loses is the nuance of being able to have a respectful conversation with someone that doesn't see things the same way as you and potentially learn something. And I know there's someone listening to this right now, and in their head, they're like, yeah, but you can't talk to someone that's an extremist. I'm not talking about that, right?
Mhm.
We are training the next generation, and I've talked about this before, to have the inability to live in the gray. Everything is black or white. Everything is one extreme to the other. And that is not a world that can function, because I don't agree with everything. And I'll use politics as an example. I don't agree with everything that a conservative platform has, but I agree with parts of it. I don't agree with everything that a liberal platform has, but I agree with some of it, right? Because I'm not a psychopath.
Right.
And I understand that there is a give and a take, right? And something that is not necessarily beneficial to me is also not detrimental to me if someone else has it. And people have lost that ability to see that. They see anything that doesn't benefit them as an affront. That's not a healthy way to operate, right? Because you have to be able to take, to your point, to take a step back and look at the situation and go, oh, okay, this person is asking for this or saying this because it's something that they need or want. And then be able to go, how does that really affect my day? And it doesn't, really doesn't. Cool. And then just go about your day. That's not what people are being trained to do. It's their response is, you have a reaction to that. That person is opposed to you. That person is the enemy. You've got it. And it's the same with feelings in kids. How dare that teacher say that to you? I'll go talk to that teacher. You should never have to deal with that. No, you should absolutely have to deal with that, because it's going to fundamentally shape the type of functioning or non-functioning adult you're going to be. And right now we have an excess of emotionally non-functioning humans in this world.
Yeah.
And it is a problem.
It is. And research even shows, like, even companies don't want to hire younger generations. They are hiring older, like ready to retire people because.
And the problem is they're equally as bad, but they're more malleable to the workforce.
Yeah.
Because they're as entrenched in their own belief system as the youngers are, right? And
but their feelings and stress.
They don't care about that because they were never taught that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
but that extremes, like you're saying, I'm not talking to extremists, but everybody is becoming extreme. We are seeing left going way further left than ever before, and right going way further right than ever before. And this is a big part of it, right? Where they're allowing these distorted ways of thinking become reality.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, because I feel it, therefore it's true. And we're never thinking critically, right? So, and we're seeing that huge polarization up until, like, I think 2012 to 2016, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the conservative and liberal, really it's the Democrats and Republicans, it's American research. But when you look, both parties are actually like around the midline in their beliefs. It really wasn't, well, I guess there was some stuff with Reagan. So maybe there was a little bit of trends in the 80s, but it really wasn't until the 2010s or so, the polarization, they are so far left and so far right. And a lot of it's social media and Trump, right? Like that's kind of where it started.
It started with Bush too, right? Like that, because that was the pre-Obama. And then you saw more polarization when he got into office by the conservative side. And then Trump built on that.
But everyone kind of thought that with Obama, things were going to turn around. And then they were looking forward to a female president. And then it just went side, and it exploded with Trump. But it really did start. There was something, I can't remember, something that Reagan had done. There was
Reaganomics.
No. There was some, I can't remember.
Still down?
No. I'll remember it later. But anyways, all this to say, but even just like our kids, we see this, something like, oh, that kid bumped into me. I didn't like it. He's bullying me. Right. And now, like, the other kid just wasn't paying attention, was probably like looking over his shoulder, like looking to see his friend, and bumped into this kid. And now it's bullying. And now teachers are pulled in and parents are pulled in. And and the other kid's like, who are we? What? I was just walking down the hallway. Yeah. Right. And so we see that they're just not thinking critically. There was another piece to this, but I almost wonder if we do part 2.
Sure. Will you remember? Do you need to jot it down?
I wonder if we just continue.
Are you gonna do the thing?
And then we can
Are you gonna do the air chop?
I could do an air chop. but we got to wrap this one up first, and then I'll do an air chop, and then we'll do part 2.
Oh my God, this is such a cliffhanger. So
Is there more about this first?
who cares? We got part 2. We can come back to it. This is amazing. We're multifaceted operation here. So, dear listener, we're about to do one of the most exciting things that she does in the context of the podcast, which is she's going to have her own little end scene thing. It's going to be awesome.
I even have a clapper somewhere. I should go get the real clapper.
I don't think that sounds as cool as you think it does.
Clapper?
You keep saying it. You keep saying it.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
I'm sure it is. It doesn't sound cool.
No.
So is that it? Is that end of part 1?
I guess so. Unless there's anything more you want to say. What?
This concludes the end of part 1. Please turn this cassette over to listen to part 2.
Yes.
Nice world.
We are so old. And you know what's really sad? There's probably a lot of people listening who don't even know what that meant.
It is what it is.
I even had my not Black Beauty. What's the other horse? Black horse.
Black Stallion.
I can't remember.
Pretty sure it was the Black Stallion.
Was it the Black Stallion?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, a black horse. But I had it on record. And they also did that on record.
They did.
You had to turn the record over.
Because it was a story.
It was a story.
Yep.
Good day.
Good day.